Hi, I'm John Yanni, partner with Early Bird Venture Capital's Health Fund, and this is Peter Finney from Potter Clarkson in the UK. Peter is a European patent attorney. Peter, what are your top tips for founders when they're thinking of filing a patent?
Before you file a patent, you have to start thinking about strategy. I would always recommend that you file patent applications in the context of a wider strategy that supports your business. Having an IP strategy is absolutely key, and it can deal with a number of elements. The filing of patent applications is just one of them, but there are other considerations for the other forms of intellectual property and ownership, etc. But so few actually have an explicit IP strategy. But the ones that do, it's refreshing, and it's not difficult to have, even if it's only an outline form. Particularly important is to understand who is in charge of IP. How far have you delegated it away from senior management just to get it over and done with? No, put it at the core of your business. You will not create value from innovation unless IP is at the core of your business. So that's the first point. You talked about filing patent applications. I see the first patent application that a company files as like a master crafted oil painting. It takes time, it takes effort, because it's the first one. It's your baby. It is not the one that you rush, file some half-baked patent application with a few ideas as a holding position so that you can say you've got a patent pending to the fool of an investor who thinks that's important. Investors are not fools. They will reveal during due diligence that that patent application is not worth the paper it's written on. So do it properly. And when I say do it properly, I mean that patent application has to map to what you're going to tell the investor in your pitch deck, in your business plan, and consistent with all the other documents that are going to end up in that data room. The patent application should say pretty much the same thing. And it often doesn't, because it's not tied together in that way. One of the reasons it's not tied together is because the patent attorney is kept at arm's length. A bit like the relationship with the investor, make it close. For it to work, it has to be close. You have to have a patent attorney who understands your business plans, your efforts to raise funds, and what you're telling investors, so that the patent application could be joined up in the way I've just talked about.
I would also say that it's a good idea to get a patent attorney to put the patent together, because often we see founders, inventors trying to write the patents themselves.
Yeah.
And that's a bit of a recipe for disaster, I would say.
I can't remember the expression. It's like a lawyer who acts for himself as a fool for a lawyer, fool for a client, sorry, something like that. But it's, the patent industry was deregulated quite rightly, 30 odd years ago, 40 years ago, which means you, like in court, you can defend yourself. You can file your own patent application. But there's so much consideration needs to go into that filing, and it takes so long to learn how to do it. The chances of you writing a good patent application yourself, and it's withstanding the testing of international examination and ultimately enforcement, is very, very slim. And it is one of the things we looked for at the very beginning. Is the first filing an oil painting, or is it a child's sketch? And you can see it. Other areas that you need to consider is novelty. You've told everybody you're innovative, you've told everybody that you filed some patent applications, but are you able to, hand on heart, actually show that you've got a reasonable prediction you're going to get a granted patent? There are only two ways of doing that. One is to do pre-filing novelty searches, get a searcher to stress test your idea, and that will help guide the filing of your patent application, those results, or make you think again. But also, and perhaps better still, file in a patent office where you will get a search in that first year. Because if you get a positive search, both pre-filing and by the patent office, you have what I would call bragging rights. I can say to you, John, I'm going to get a patent. I've got a reasonable prediction I'm going to get a patent, and that fits in. Yeah,
increase the value of your company.
Yeah. And finally, and this is perhaps a difficult one to say, is don't bullshit your investors. We can see through it. You and I can see through it. We can reveal very quickly whether what you've told us actually rings true. Intellectual property is a proxy for all sorts of things in terms of establishing whether people understand the business, are looking after the major assets, and can articulate their business and their innovation well. The sort of bullshit we occasionally see falls over very quickly, and we just walk away, don't we, John?
Indeed, we can see through it very quickly.
Yeah.
After the years that we've been doing it, yes, we can. Yeah, indeed.
So those are my tips.
Okay.
In a nutshell.
Okay. Well, thank you, Peter, for your tips and your insight, and thanks everyone for joining us.
Thank you.